Hello, YouTuber. How are you? We have a proposal to you. Listen. Ads on YouTube. They sure are. They're everywhere. They're on the homepage, they're above the recommended videos, and most unavoidably, they're in the video itself. As you all know, there's 1 or 2 at the beginning, 2 at the end, and then the creator can even sprinkle a few throughout the video itself. You might have even just gotten done watching an ad before this video started. At least, I hope you did, for my sake. But for the casual YouTube viewer who might just need to watch one video, having to sit through 1 or 2 ads that might even be unskippable sounds like a real pain in the ass. And for the veteran YouTube watchers, the ads are just part of it. We've accepted it as just part of the ecosystem, even though when you focus on it, you can admit it is annoying. So if the user base is numb to it and the newcomers are annoyed by it, then you have to wonder, would there be any harm in creators turning off video ads in general? I would argue yes. And I don't say that just because I benefit from them, like I'm as much a video watcher as I am a video creator, which does explain the mental health. If an eligible channel joins the YouTube partnership program, then they actually get a small kickback every time an ad plays on their channel, and they get to cash it out when it hits $100. And honestly, I just think it's cool that people can be paid for the work they make here, and I think that's why YouTube has survived so long, and it's the preferred video platform, Vimeo. Honestly, this is my preferred system of making a living on YouTube. I have no guilt taking money from Google because they're drowning in it, and you don't have to sacrifice anything besides a 15-second ad. YouTube takes a 45% cut out of everything you earn, and honestly, that's pretty generous compared to most sites. And because you get paid for the number of times an ad plays, if your video has a lot of views, you could be making some serious money. For transparency, here are the analytics from my last upload. At around 70,000 views, it is making me $420. I'd call that pretty nice. I'd label myself a medium-sized channel, so I think this is the average revenue. Of course, the channels with millions of subscribers are making a lot more, but I think the ones around the 70,000 view range are probably earning this as well. So if my average views get me around $420 and I post the recommended consistency of 4 times a week, that's a monthly payout of $1,680. And it sinks my heart to have to say this, but that's not enough. Rent prices alone in major cities can eclipse that number on their own, and those are only rising. Not to mention groceries, transportation, unexpected medical bills, mutual aid, student loans, and other costs of living expenses people might encounter. And though it doesn't feel like enough, you can survive on this. I bring in a little bit more than average, so I'm able to survive in my city with editing as my full-time job. It just means I have to be smart with my bills, shop for essentials, save what I can, and try not to make any impulse purchases I might want to do, business or otherwise. But I highlight this because it means most creators my size and under usually don't make enough off of YouTube ads alone in order to support their cost of living. And this is where we see those alternative support systems for YouTubers come up. You can post on a different platform, you could live stream, try to earn donations, you could open up a third-party donation site like Patreon, or you could entertain doing what our main topic today is about, sponsorships. If you had to guess, how many times in your life have you heard the words, "This video is brought to you by"? Because for me, it's like in the thousands. There are hundreds of companies out there that are willing to pay creators directly in order for there to be a part of their video dedicated to selling their product. The rates that they offer are going to range depending on the channel's size or the amount of views they usually get, but most times, any additional income is going to be better than just relying on ads. But these brands are well aware that their biggest payout is going to come from the biggest channels. Some of the larger channels can afford to go months without posting, and as long as that newest video makes the sponsor happy, they're going to pay big money for that. You didn't hear this from me, but certain companies will offer 6-figure deals to some YouTubers. That's 6 spaces with a comma. Like, it's incredible just to know that that offer is out there on the table for this profession. And you know the entire reason that companies are willing to go that far with their marketing budget and offer those numbers is because they know this system works. Some sponsors will also benefit the creator by giving them a coupon code to give to their audience, and every time an audience member uses that code, the creator will get an additional kickback. And if you hear all that and you're wondering how to break into this lucrative business, all you need to have is a growing channel. I think I got my first sponsor email at around 10K, but once I hit around 40K, it became a daily occurrence. And a lot of those pitch emails are going to be very upfront with what they're looking for from the creator. Most of them are going to ask for a runtime between 60 and 90 seconds, and they'll usually want a link to be added in the first line of your description. Other ones will ask you for a specified place in the video to include the ad segment. Some of them will require you to make social media posts as well. And though it's mostly optional, some of these companies are going to want you to physically have the product in your hand so you can show it to the camera. I know certain companies will also send you a template script for you to base your ad off of, and those talking points can range from either suggestions to requirements. If you want to predict what happens in a sponsored segment, all you have to do is ask yourself, what talking points would I imagine this company wants out there? And those are the reasons I think this TikTok trend is bad. But now let's get into something that's not so bad, and that is today's wonderful sponsor, Lemonade Third Box. Everybody knows that people like to get just the right amount of lemonade, and it's an incredibly delicious drink any time of the year. And as you guys know, I've been a huge supporter in the past of getting a third of a glass of lemonade every month, and that's why I'm so excited to partner with the wonderful people over at Lemonade Third Box, the monthly subscription that does just that. It's a great gift that anybody of all ages will enjoy, and with the holiday season coming up, there's no better time to jump on this deal. So what are you waiting for? Go to lemonadethirdbox.com and use the code KUNCAND12 to get 12% off a monthly subscription. Or take advantage of their wonderful holiday deal going on right now and prepay for a year in order to get the exclusive single grape package. You can take it from me. This is a wonderful deal that you don't want to miss. And now let's get back to the second half of this news video. And even if you're done filming the ad, those companies might want it posted in a timely manner. A lot of ads are pre-recorded, which means that the video they're going in has not been made. And what happens if you have an ad made, but not the video? Certain companies are going to require you submit the entire video that the ad will appear in for them to approve, because they can't have their brand associated with something that's not a safe topic. They're going to want to review the video and maybe even suggest changes. I have heard horror stories about certain companies requiring 2 to 3 drafts of re-edits just because they wanted the video to be different. I also know that some companies in the negotiations will require you to send in your channel demographics so they can better understand your audience. No company wants to waste advertising money on a demographic that won't buy what they're selling. That's why you don't see whiskey ads on kids' content. And that's the point when we start getting into the things like having a threshold of guaranteed views, or not allowing a creator to deviate from the talking points. Or sometimes they'll stop communication with you after you've given them your personal information. That's not a fun one. Yeah, it's not a guarantee that every offer you get is going to be a good one, or a safe one even. That means that you have to do actual research into which ones you trust. So, to give you a better idea on what it's like to be contacted by sponsors, I thought for this segment it would be cool to show you my inbox and give you an idea of what it's like for me to be contacted by a company. Good day. We are interested on pre-roll in your video. That's the whole email. Hey Kuncan, it's me again. Let me ask you something. Could you use an extra $5,000 or more per month in massive income? If the answer is yes, then you may want to consider partnering with us to create your own long-term storable food store. All you have to do is promote the store to your audience and sit back and watch the commissions roll in. Yes, it's that easy. Hey, you popped up on my For You page and I wanted to say how much I love your content. Wrong platform. We don't have a For You page here. Please reply with your phone number. I didn't get your last reply. Thanks. I didn't reply. And now he wants my phone number. Hello, we believe that your YouTube channel is ideal for promoting our unique game called Fortnite Chapter 3. Therefore, we would like to work with you. We assure you that it will be an unforgettable experience. Our development team wants to promote their product in your media space. The second Chapter 3 in the game, you can build buildings of any type. Okay, it's just describing what Fortnite is. So either this is a very clear scam, or I have fumbled a Fortnite-sized bag. Hi, my name is Blank, and I'm the community manager at Blank, the official YouTube partner. I just came across your channel, and I have to say, you do an amazing job on your content. My team and I would love to work with you. I have an interesting offer for you, so I would like to offer you a partnership that might be useful to you. Would you like to know more? And here's my favorite. Hello, YouTuber, how are you? We have a proposal to you. Listen. Proposal for mutually beneficial cooperation between YouTuber and Blank. I have emails here from a vitamin company and a certain pants brand. And those aren't really things I want to pawn to my audience. The amount of offers that stream in daily has turned my business email into one big spam folder. Like, if you ever want to contact me, don't do it through here, because I avoid this like the plague. But I wanted to bring this up because some people might think that it's all just the big familiar brands that you associate with sponsorships, but it's more like the Wild West in here. But now, let's go over why we're talking about this at all. The reason why a lot of people are having discussions about YouTube sponsors right now is because a very familiar and well-known brand has been accused of things like false advertising and scamming. Now, I'm not in the mood to get sued, and I don't want to say allegedly 100 times, so we're going to call this company lordmeup.com, and that will make sense in a minute. Essentially, this service would sell you a square foot of farmland in Scotland, with the idea being it would technically make you a Scottish noble. It's advertised as like a good gag gift. They ship you a certificate that you can have customized and give it to someone and say, now we get to technically call you a lord, and then everybody laughs and has a wonderful Christmas. I don't know. The company was very successful, and I can understand why it took off. It's kind of like having a star named after you. Finding a loophole that allows yourself to technically be a lord can be very appealing to people. And for a lot of people in my generation, the fantasy of just owning land somewhere is a hefty one. But recently, videos have been coming out revealing more about this service. They point out that the company uses specific word choice to never actually say you're legally considered a noble, because you aren't. Despite a lot of the sponsored YouTubers using officially become a lord as their pitch and never being corrected. They also found out that the corporation was being run out of Hong Kong and was just auctioning farmland from abroad, which made a lot of people feel as though they'd been falsely advertised to. The backlash led to multiple YouTubers who had been sponsored by lordmeup.com before in the past, to their sometimes millions of viewers, to issue apologies and promise to edit out that sections in their older videos where the company was mentioned. On the flip side, other YouTubers didn't comment on it, and some even actually got defensive and tried to issue away all blame on them, saying, it's still a gag gift anyway, who cares? And I guess on a creator side, I can see why all of these arguments bear some weight to them. Despite the type of reactions a creator might have, it's not really their fault that they participated in a system of inauthentic advertising. Or is it? Are creators fully responsible for the brands that they advertise? I've thought about it a lot, and honestly, I'm split. On the one hand, yes, because if you're going to work with a company and accept their money in order to showcase their product to your audience, it makes sense that you would want to bear some responsibility in making sure this is a good company and one you would want to be associated with. But on the other hand, it's unrealistic to expect every creator to do a deep dive private investigation into every company that wants to work with you. With those brands that have had information come out over time, it's taken months or even years of dedicated research, and if a company has something to hide, they're usually going to hide it pretty well. I remember a similar story years ago about a prominent YouTube sponsor that also had information come out and had its reputation ruined, and we're going to be calling it therapyondemand.gov. I can't afford lawyers, I have to do this. The company was offering a fast and reliable online therapy service, which sounds amazing, and when the creators would talk about it in their ads, they would emphasize how mental health is important to them and how it matters trying to get it into people's hands. But after a few years, videos started popping up detailing the website's service and how shady it seemed. People were complaining that their online therapist never showed up to appointments, and others were alleging the app would charge them multiple times the amount for just one visit. And understandably, when people heard about this, it only prompted further research, which only led to heavier claims. There were allegations about the client's data being sold to Facebook, which is now Greta, and how the therapists people were connected with weren't licensed or official at all, but just people. I remember as soon as that story got big, a lot of these creators pulled their ads and issued apologies, just like with this current story. And with the creators being out and the audience thinking negatively of this company, they had no choice but to pull back and disappeared for a few years. But recently, sponsored ads for therapyondemand.gov have been reappearing in YouTube videos. Sometimes the talking points even reference the company's reputation, and they talk about how this is better and new and how they've changed. The people that remember the scandal remain suspicious, and to this day I see comments kind of reacting negatively whenever a creator is sponsored by them. We, as both viewers and creators, can't really tell when a company is telling 100% of the truth. And when their reputations blow up, people feel too burned to ever give them a second chance, and companies know this. So they're going to be extra careful with what they let us know. The trustworthiness of brands is usually judged on the metrics of how many creators they've worked with before and word of mouth between YouTubers on what companies to trust. And maybe that isn't the best system to rely on. I think I would encourage any YouTube creators that are still watching this to continue and put even more emphasis on talking with each other and communicating about the brands that we've heard about to be untrustworthy or the ones we've had good experiences with. Especially with the younger channels that might be excited to work with anybody, you definitely want to make sure that they don't get taken advantage of, and the way we get past that is by working together. And if a company does turn out to be a scam, there's only one response from creators that I would want to discourage, which would be responding too far in either direction. You don't want to be over-apologetic and shoulder too much blame on yourself, because most times there's no way you could have known. And at the same time, you also don't want to reject any blame actively and argue with people, because that doesn't seem like the right thing to do either. In short, I think the best way to understand the reputation of a company is through communication, which makes sense. But when it comes to giving advice, there is one central problem that we keep coming back to. How do we know who to trust? It's easy. We don't. I'm positive that every YouTuber that partnered with LordMeUp.com completely thought it was a legitimate company in every way. In general, public figures don't endorse brands that they don't really feel safe with, and nobody really loves to back something up after it's exposed. If you go back and look at some of the emails that I highlighted, you'll see that, yeah, some of these offers are going to sound sketchier than others. But even the ones we consider safe might have something going on behind the scenes, and we wouldn't know. Thankfully, it seems highly rare that a company that wants to scam people is going to advertise on YouTube, which is one of the most highly trafficked sites ever. A lot of the reasons companies choose to advertise on YouTube is because they feel confident in the service that they require, and a lot of them actually genuinely want to help people with whatever they're providing. At least I would hope so. I'm not making this video because I think people should have an inherent distrust in every company we see advertised on YouTube. I really just wanted to shed more light on the process of what it's like to work with sponsors, because a lot of people might not know all of the little details. I just thought it would help to go over this process and be more transparent, because whenever something like this happens, people want to blame someone, and I think whenever blame is misdirected, it's usually bad. Longtime viewers of mine might have noticed that none of my videos have been sponsored by any brands yet, and there's a lot of reasons why, some personal, some more practical, but the main reason is because I think it's worth really being careful about. When I was first growing in subscribers, I remember one company reached out to me and asked if I could showcase one of their products. And for me, it was an accomplishment because I'd finally hit that benchmark. So I said, hell yeah. Not only that, but they offered to pay me more than what I'd ever made off a month of YouTube. They somehow knew how to target my one weakness, which is financial anxiety. They asked where they could ship the product as we were signing the contract, so I gave them my info so they could get it to me. And that was the last time I ever heard back from them. And as I was waiting for a reply, with each passing day, it dawned on me more and more that I just freely gave someone my home address. I have no idea who, but it's out there. The website looked official and the links were safe. I believe this was the real company and not a scam. But that didn't mean I knew who I had just given my home address to. Suddenly, someone out there had a lot of access to me, and I had no idea who it was. My best guess is that the deal just fell through, or they reshifted their marketing strategy because they went full no contact in the middle of signing contracts. So, that's out of everybody's hands, but it still meant that all of my emails went unanswered. And that, I think, was a very bad first experience with working with a brand. I've since moved from that address, so like I'm safe, and I know in the future I can just give a brand a PO box to ship something to. But that first experience, it really told me to be very careful with who I'm willing to be vulnerable with. Ideally, my fantasy sponsorship would be one where I don't have to interact with them and I just wear the brand logo on me like a NASCAR driver. But I can promise you, just on a personal note, that if I ever do a sponsorship in the future, I will have vetted it probably too much, so it will be one that I absolutely trust. As for all of us moving forward from this, I hope we can just retain a kind of consciousness about the brands that we interact with, and whenever something like this happens, we don't go around looking to blame people, because sometimes there's no one to blame. If you see a creator run an ad from a company you're skeptical of, bring up those concerns in the comments. Don't chastise them because they might not have known. Maybe just cite your sources and try to start a dialogue in the comments, and hopefully that creator will see it. For creators, please continue to communicate with one another about the brands you've had experiences with, both good or bad. We're all on the same team on this side of the dynamic, so let's just keep each other well informed. The more we know, the better. All right, that's all from me. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to use Kuncan D12 on your order of Lemonade Third Box for a great deal. See ya.